So I recorded a video titled Cosmological Ambiguity, and the way at which you guys were simply watching that video, the pace at which, I could see the peak, it made me realize that you guys are taking quite much of an interest when it comes to analyzing, observing, and understanding, cosmos. So basically, that made me realize that there is some more stuff that you would like to know also. So this video is dedicated to the crazy cosmos. And there are a few things that I would like to share, and in case I forget any of these points, so I have the key terms that I have written down. And in case I forget about one of these points, I'm going to just look down to get an idea and then share the details with you. So, starting from the very first term, that is, and of course, it's not going to be a short, it's the longer one, because I'll start with one by one and then proceeding ahead with the remaining concept. So, the first important thing regarding this universe of which we are a part by living within it and being formed of it is that what we see around us is the observable universe. And what I'm saying by this term of the observable universe, I mean that there is a big probability based on the statistics by the astrophysicist that there is still a world out there of which we are not sure, about which we are unaware. We don't know that there are more universe, due to which now there is a term called multiverse that is also being used in movies, in discussion, in social media, as well as in different platforms. And it's a clear indication of the fact that it's not the only universe that we see around us in our surroundings. Rather, it's a part of a big reality that is out there that also is waiting for us to discover it. So that is also a big point for you all to remember. Then proceeding ahead, you'll be well aware of the idea of the Big Bang Theory. And this theory is, based on the manner in which the data is clearly indicating the fact that all the galaxies are moving away from one another. And whenever we are trying to observe these galaxies, the phenomena is basically quite simple. Whatever we see, or the way you are seeing me right now, is also based on the light that is going through your retina and simply creating an image within your brain. And if there is an object that is basically very close to you, so the light is not going to take much of the time, rather within a splash of a second the image will be formed. But when it comes to the formation of an image of the sun, so the light that is basically coming from the sun takes around 8 minutes. So whatsoever happens on the sun, you get to know about it after 8 minutes. And there are many galaxies, there are many stars that are out there that are like at a distance of millions and millions of years. So you can realize from this point that you will get to know about what is happening over there after that light has basically traveled that particular distance, which means that based on the estimate of 13.8 billion years, or around or almost 14 billion years, so the universe that you see, the far images using telescope and other technology, is basically a clear indicator of that old universe, the way it formed. And the oldest images of the universe are the farthest one. And an interesting point for you, which is a point to ponder, that at the present time, you will never know what is the actual reality out there, because the image that you are seeing right now started to travel almost based on those statistics that are shared, like 13.8 billion years to reach towards you, to reach towards your eye. And that is the image that you are seeing right now, based on this theory of the Big Bang and of course the expansion of the universe. So starting from a single, or I'll say singularity, that is very dense and based on infinite mass, and then with a Big Bang expanding, for which there is another term of cosmic inflation. So then the cosmos started to inflate just like a balloon, and that is the reason because of which you see the light emitted from the stars to have a red shift, which is clear indicator of the stars and galaxies and planets and everything else to be moving away from one another as well as away from us. So there is another point. So good thing is I don't need the points anymore because they are like directly connected one after the other. So the next point is that as a result of this cosmic inflation, because earlier everything was quite dense, but from that when it inflated, so because of this expansion things started to cool down, because when it was a singularity was of very high temperature and very hot, very dense. But then with the expansion, cooling started to occur. A cool space started to occupy spaces between these hot giant bodies. Rather, I'll say the giant bodies weren't formed. All that, the mass that was there in its singularity form, once the Big Bang happened and spaces were created, the primitive form of particles that were formed at the outset were the quarks and the gluons. That are basically the primitive particles which are the building particles of protons and neutrons. Gluons are named gluons because of their property of acting as a glue to simply use these quarks to form protons and neutrons. And then, of course, proton with a positive charge and then electron with a negative charge, giving rise to the atom. And then, if we talk about atom, let's say, of hydrogen within stars, including the sun, and then doing the fusion reaction to form helium and then creating a lot of energy that we receive in the form of heat and light. So you can see step by step the formation of the universe based on these theories. So just think about everything that I've just mentioned: cosmic inflation, quarks, gluons, the formation of these particles, and starting from that explosion. And the basic theory, or one of the big anticipation of this expansion, is that, of course, everything that has a beginning has an end, which means that scientists do anticipate that just the way an explosion took place to form everything that we see around us, so you can certainly anticipate the act of an implosion which will bring all this to an end. So whatever we see in a very symmetrical form, some call it quite asymmetrical also, but the reason why I'm calling it symmetrical is the fact that from any point you see the observable universe, it turns out to be quite similar. It appears to be quite same, probably because of the relative position of observing all these stars and galaxies, but overall it appears to be quite symmetrical. But the astrophysicist can certainly tell you with precision and accuracy that it may not be the case. But the points that I got to know and the points that really make you, that turn out to be quite jaw-dropping, eye-opening, quite strange, sometimes quite spooky, because just imagine you are looking at the things that are very far and small that are actually not there at present. You are only seeing them because of the light that has took years and years to travel and reach at the point where you are right now. And it has took years and years to get there. So maybe the reality out there is already quite different from the one you are seeing right now. So this is the mysterious and the spooky part. And once you start diving deeper into these concepts and ideas, they drive you a lot crazy than you are right now. And the same thing happened, and I thought of sharing with you. Maybe you like it, maybe not. But if there's some other ideas to share, I'll certainly share that with you also. But that is all I have to say for now. So take good care of yourself and keep thinking about the stuff that I've just mentioned. Take care. Bye-bye.